Good evening, everybody. It is February 7th. Thank you for joining us for this regular meeting of the Laramie City Council. We will go ahead and call it to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would like to join. Thank you, everyone. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Here.
Newman. Absent. O'Doherty.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Richardson. Here. Shumway.
Here.
Somerville. Absent. Cumby.
Here.
Harrington.
Here.
That's seven present and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. We will move on to item 4, which is public comment on non-agenda items. Any members of the public wishing to speak to the council on any issue not on the agenda, feel free to come forward now or raise your hand on Zoom. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment period and move on to item 5. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I move that the agenda be set as submitted. Second.
Motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilor Pierce. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seeing none, the agenda is set. All right, we will move on to item 6 here with a proclamation that I will go ahead and read on random acts of kindness. Whereas the City of Laramie recognizes the value of acts of kindness that are performed without prompting or reason, and how these acts can positively impact the persons offering kindness, the person receiving the act of kindness, and those witnessing. And whereas acts of kindness can be performed by any person in the City of Laramie, regardless of age, origin, education, gender, religious belief, lifestyle, or abilities, for the good around them. And whereas kind individuals can create a more caring community and help to perpetuate genuine acts of kindness within their city, state, or even throughout the world. And whereas we seek to cultivate thoughtful and compassionate residents by teaching our youth to make a difference through random acts of kindness. And whereas Random Acts of Kindness Week is recognized as an international celebration intended to encourage all of us to practice acts of kindness in our homes, schools, businesses, and communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Brian Harrington, acting as Mayor and President of the governing body of the City of Laramie, do hereby proclaim February 12th through 18th, 2023 as City of Laramie Random Acts of Kindness Week, and encourage the people of Laramie to practice random acts of kindness in the spirit of compassion, kindness, and goodwill towards all persons. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused it to be affixed the seal of the City of Laramie on the 7th day of February, 2023. Do we have anybody here? It looks like Shelley Macy. Go ahead and come forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you mind flipping on the microphone? You can just push the button there in the middle. Thank you. And go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, council members. On behalf of Kindness Wyoming, I appreciate the attention that we pay towards the positive. The world could always do with a little bit more kindness. I strongly encourage you to Google random acts of kindness and look at how the psychological and the physiological approach, whether it be business, whether it be church, whether it be school, home, there are a lot of ideas that can help change your lens, change your perspective, to have a little bit more kindness towards your fellow man, towards your peers, towards your family. It's not a punitive look, it is a kind look. And remember that we are all struggling. Kindness Wyoming was born of the Leadership Wyoming class. It was 2017 and is now an independent nonprofit organization that is supported both on the state level It's nationally and internationally recognized, and again, I strongly encourage you to look into it personally and professionally. Thank you again for the proclamation.
Thank you. And I have the proclamation here for you. If you'd like to, maybe I can hand it around, or you're welcome to come through the swinging door and grab it.
Mayor, did you want to try to do pictures?
You know, City Clerk, I would love to. If you would like to do a picture with us, we would invite you up through the swinging door and we can take a picture together.
Where would you like us?
Come on up with us. And I will give you this to start.
What about your friend?
Thank you all.
Yeah, you can just stand. We'll, yeah.
Micah, can you slide? Yeah.
My hair.
You're good. No, you're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much
Congratulations.
appreciated.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk. I kind of forgot about the pictures. Nice to be back in person. All right, we will move on to the first public hearing of the evening. City Clerk.
Notice is hereby given that on the 21st day of December 2022, an application was received in the office of the city clerk for a new restaurant liquor license, number R72, for 17 Cafe LLC, doing business as 17th Street Cafe, located at 310 South 17th Street, Laramie, Wyoming, for a license term of February 8th, 2023 through May 7th, 2023. Public hearing to hear comments and protests relative to this license application will be held Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at Council Chambers, 406 Ivinson Avenue, or via Zoom. Action on this application will be considered at the regular meeting of City Council on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in Council Chambers. All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie City Clerk's office at 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing? If you're on Zoom, go ahead and just raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing on this restaurant liquor license, excuse me, and we will move on to the next public hearing. City Clerk.
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Laramie City Council will be held Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at 406 Ivinson Avenue, Council Chambers, for the following purpose. Original ordinance number 2056, amending Laramie Municipal Code section number 9.12.130, disorderly conduct, generally to prohibit intoxicated individuals from entering private homes or places without the knowledge or consent of the owner or occupant. All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie City Clerk's office at 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this public hearing?
There we have one on Zoom, Brett Glass.
Go ahead and let Mr. Glass into the room.
Thank you.
My apologies, Brett. I'm going to try to put you in so we can see you here. Mr. Glass, can you see an invitation?
And City Clerk, you're just allowing Mr. Glass to turn his camera on if he would like?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Glass, if you would like to turn your camera on, you are welcome to. When you're ready, the floor is yours.
It also shows that he's unmuted.
And you,
Okay.
There you are. Great.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad that you're offering citizens the opportunity to turn on their cameras. So wait just a moment. It'll only take me a second here to get my camera going.
No problem, Mr. Glass. Take your time.
Okay, let's see.
There you are. We see you, Mr. Glass. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mayor Harrington, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. As I mentioned during council's last meeting, my family and I are very much in support of this ordinance, and we're very glad to see it come up. Our only concern is that the wording of the exact wording of the change to the municipal code might possibly let offenders off the hook, and so I would like to propose tonight a friendly amendment, actually 3 possibilities for a friendly amendment to make sure that this doesn't happen. As the ordinance before you currently reads, a person can be considered to be drunk and disorderly if found in any private place without the knowledge or permission of the owner or occupant under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drug or any combination of intoxicating liquor or drug. Well, as a logic designer and programmer who has to deal with formal logic, and also as a former pre-law student, I studied to be a patent lawyer and then changed my mind about doing that. Please let me explain why I'm concerned about this. The phrase "without the knowledge or permission" could be construed to mean with neither the knowledge nor the permission, in which case the defendant, in a case like who was drunk and disorderly, would have to be considered innocent if the owner or occupant knew the intoxicated person was there, even if permission was not granted. Now, there's been some emails back and forth about whether or not this is the way the judge would read the ordinance. As any lawyer can tell you, one key principle that judges use when they're interpreting the law is what's called the rule of lenity, which states that in construing an ambiguous criminal statute, the court always should resolve the ambiguity in favor of the defendant. So under the current wording, if the owner or occupant had knowledge that the inebriated person was there, the judge would have to let the defendant go. Now, this is obviously not what we want, so I'd like to suggest 3 possibilities for changing the ordinance to make this work. One would be to change the "or" in the current draft to "and." So it would say without the knowledge and permission of the owner or occupant. That means that the owner or occupant would have to both know and permit that person, know that that person was there and permit them to be there. Another way to do it would be to amend the ordinance to say without the knowledge or without the permission of the owner or occupant. By putting the second "without" there, that would also fix that problem. Finally, there's one other way you could possibly fix this, and that would be to simply amend the language to say without permission and omit anything about knowledge, since permission is really the key factor here. After all, it's possible that the owner or occupant could give someone blanket permission to be in a particular place, but not know the exact time when that person might be there. So this would actually handle that problem too, as well as fixing the potential problem with letting someone go when they actually were guilty of what council wants to prohibit. So
Thank you, Mr. Glass. If you'll go ahead and wrap up, that would be great. Your 3 minutes is expired.
Okay. Again, I've described this all in an email to you, and again, please forgive me for sounding a little bit nerdy and pedantic about this, but we really want this to be an effective ordinance, and again, we appreciate your considering it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to speak to the council this evening, Mr. Glass. Any other members of the public? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and close this public comment or public hearing and move on to announcements. I believe we have an announcement from the Assistant City Manager.
Yes, yes, Mayor. Todd Fieser has an announcement for you, also Public Works, and then myself. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Go ahead, Assistant City Manager.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, it's fun to be here tonight. Tonight, I wanted to make you aware that starting on Thursday night, February 9th, the Wyoming Winter Senior Olympics will be in Laramie again. They'll be hosting events the 9th, 10th, and 11th. We've got, I believe, over 200 participants coming in to participate in cross-country skiing, biathlons, pickleball, swimming event, the whole bit. And in fact, if none of you are busy on Friday morning at 9 a.m. and want to come out and help me manage the snowshoe races at the Happy Jack area, I would appreciate any help I can get at this point. But we're super excited. It's led by a good group of volunteers, and it's a good way to showcase Laramie and encourage you all. If you do see some athletes out, they tend to wear their medals. You'll know them. Make sure you visit with them and encourage them to continue to visit Laramie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fieser. Vice Mayor? Just one second. Assistant City Manager, you may have a question.
Yes. Mr. Fieser, I wonder if you might send out an email to council if you want volunteers, and just kind of let us know what it is you need or how we should best prepare.
Absolutely, I can do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager. And welcome to all of those athletes as they visit us again in Laramie. Public Works Director, welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council. So late last week, we got a call from Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality, and they were calling to let us know that Governor Gordon would be declaring this week, February 6th through 13th, as Wyoming Professional Water and Wastewater Operators Week. So yesterday, we had the opportunity to send a few staff members over to the Capitol and witnessed the signing of the proclamation. All three of the staff members that went over are all certified operators. The first one was Dan Klein, he's a water meter supervisor. Second was Ariel McGuire, distribution crew supervisor, and Greg Bauman, acting lead operator. So before I came in tonight, I posted on the city Facebook page a picture of them with the governor, and there's also a link there to the full proclamation that I really don't want to read the whole thing to you. But in short, the proclamation recognizes and honors the work of professional operators throughout Wyoming for protecting the public health, environment, and water resources. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Webb. That is a timely and welcome recognition from the governor. All right, and then moving to you, City Manager Jordan.
Thank you, Council. I'm sorry that I can't be in the room with you this evening, but I did want to pass along some information. We do have applications open right now for community partner funding. Community partner funding, as you know, allows agencies that provide important non-governmental but typically nonprofit services throughout the community to apply for funding from the city for special projects or other worthy reasons. Those applications are due February 21st. There's a bunch of information on our website for interested agencies, or they can call the city manager's office at 721-5226 if they'd like to get more information about how to apply.
Thank you, City Manager. All right, without any more announcements, we'll move on to item 7, disclosures by members of the City Council on any items before us this evening. Okay, seeing none, we will move to the Vice Mayor for approval of the consent agenda. Item 8.
I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second.
Motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilor Pierce. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, everyone. We will need a roll call on this one. City Clerk. Thank you, others.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Sorry. Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. The consent agenda has been approved. Thank you, members, for keeping me on the rails. We will move on then to catch up here. Move on to the regular agenda. Taking us to item 11, Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the First Amendment to the State Revolving Fund loan for the North Tank Project and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the First Amendment to the loan agreement and the second promissory note.
Second.
Motion by Pierce, second by Shumway. Director Webb, go ahead.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, North Tank Project, you've all been hearing about this one for a long time. It's underway. They are mobilizing up on the north side of town. There's huge stacks of pipe up there. As far as this item tonight, if you recall, back on June 7th, 2022, Council authorized staff to submit an application to SLIB for some additional SRF funding for the project, an additional $6 million. On June 21st, you all authorized or awarded the bid for that project to Simon Contractors, a local contractor here. And then on December 1st, 2022, the SLIB board authorized and approved that loan application with a reduced interest rate of 1.25%. To finalize that, the mayor and clerk are required to sign the promissory note and the loan agreement. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, we will go to the public for any comment on this item. Okay, seeing none, we will close that public comment period and back to the council for any final comments before the vote. Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. O'Doherty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has passed. We will move on to item 12, Councilor O'Doherty.
I move to approve the State Loan and Investment Board American Rescue Plan Act grant agreement for the Sea Line Phase 2 sanitary sewer project in the amount of $2,904 and authorize the mayor, $2,904,000 and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
Motion by O'Doherty, second by Pierce. Director Webb.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, this is one we should be really, really excited about. The American Rescue Plan Act funds came out and council again authorized us to put in a grant application for a few projects. And the Sea Line Sanitary Sewer Project is a big sewer main project that'll be happening this summer. Engineering staff is currently preparing the bid documents for that project. It's a 24-inch sewer line that goes all the way down 6th Street from Canby to Ivinson. So a big project. And the State Loan and Investment Board awarded us $2,904,000. And to receive those funds, we need a signature from a mayor on the grant agreement.
Thank you, Director Webb. Council, any questions? All right, seeing no questions, we will go to the public for any comment on this item. Okay, seeing none, back to the council. Any final comments before the vote? Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, go ahead and call the roll.
Somerville, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has passed. We'll move on to item 13. Councilor Richardson.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-15 supporting beautification treatments along the 3rd Street corridor in the downtown business district, amend the budget as appropriate, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Richardson, second by O'Doherty. Director Webb, back again.
Yeah. Honorable Mayor, City Council. So as you know, YDOT is planning to come in on 3rd Street and do a lot of work. They're going to be doing a full resurfacing of the roadway, basically from Boswell all the way up to Curtis. They're going to be doing all sidewalks, ADA, ramps, a lot of work there. Kind of what they did along Grand 2 years ago. Redoing that whole street, it'll be really nice when it's done. Back in 2018, City Council approved an agreement with YDOT that we would add in some medians to kind of bookend the downtown business district area. And then in 2019, we had some citizens and some businesses that came forward and had some concerns with those medians, and really the concerns were access to businesses, being able to make left-hand turns into businesses and things like that. So then later in 2019, council authorized staff to submit a design to YDOT to shorten those medians to allow those turning movements into the businesses. And then near the end of last year, 2022, YDOT, trying to finalize their design, came back to us with some concerns on that, some concerns with pedestrian crossings there. They had some questions on the medians and what their purpose, what the real purpose of them was going to be. The medians are designed, they're literally 8-inch curbs in the middle of the road. Tall landscaping will be allowed for sight distances and things like that. So we met with YDOT, some of the business owners, and the Laramie Main Street folks, and discussed removing the northern median and putting in a different type of gateway treatment. We don't know what that is, but something different. And then through further discussions, we thought, well, if we're removing the one from the north, maybe remove from the south, with the one from the south also, so that the gateway treatments on both ends can be the same, and then add some beautification to it. And so originally, the original agreement with YDOT for the medians was about $135,000. That was a few years back. So we're estimating now that cost would be twice if we did the medians. So we're asking for additional funds to help with that beautification along the 3rd Street corridor. We've worked with Laramie, the Laramie Main Street folks and the business owners along there. Me, Malia, and Todd have really been working with them quite a bit to come to an agreement. And so is what the resolution is basically saying, is that we're going to remove the medians on the north and south end, remove both medians, and take the funds and add those to beautification along there. A team will be put together of city staff, Laramie Main Street, Laramie Public Arts Commission, is it committee or coalition? Sorry, coalition, and business owners to come up with a plan, so that everybody's happy, and that 3rd Street corridor down through the downtown business district looks awesome when we're done, is the plan. So with that, I'll take any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Director Webb. Any questions, members? Councilor Pierce.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a question, but I am really thrilled that the medians are gone. They're never a fan of medians, but I'm happy to see we're working with all the different committees and folks, and hopefully we'll come up with something really amazing. So, yeah, and thank you for all your hard work, because it's a lot of folks sitting around the table, I would imagine, with different ideas. So, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? Councilor Gabriel.
Thanks, Mayor. Brooks, I know in the past that this project had been proposed for a certain time frame, and I understand now that it's been postponed. Is that right? Another year? Do you know what the exact date now for construction is going to be?
Yeah, Councilor Gabriel, through you, Mayor, 2025, summer 2025 is what they're looking at now. We had asked them to push it back so that we could do the water line replacement in there under 3rd Street. We started that last summer. Material supply chain issues, we didn't get it done. Our contractor's getting ready to mobilize here early this spring so that we can get that water line work done. Then YDOT is going to be taking a year off from 3rd Street because they're going to be working on the Curtis Street Bridge. And then once Curtis Street Bridge is completed, they're going to come over and do 3rd Street in 2025.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we will go to the public on this item. Any members of the public wish to speak to the council? Mr. Valentine, come forward. Give us your name, and the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
I'm Tyler Valentine. I'm the CEO of Stage Point Federal Credit Union. Excuse me, you may see a letter of support for this amendment in the packet with my business being impacted by a potential median at the intersection of Clark and 3rd Street. Been actively engaged with city staff on this issue. Really appreciate the hard work that they've done to move this forward and to allow a business-friendly solution to this issue and allow access across 3rd Street to all businesses, and happy to work continuously with city staff and those interested to ensure that the 3rd Street corridor is enhanced and beautified through this process, and at the same time a corridor where traffic can access all businesses across all intersections. So just thank you for considering the amendment, and just here to speak in support.
Thank you. Thanks for taking time out of your evening to join us. Any other members of the public wish to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close. Oh, I do see that. I can't see the name. Jennifer Powers. Come on into the room. When you are off mute, the floor is yours. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for my technical difficulties tonight, but I am Jennifer Power, and I am here on behalf of Laramie Main Street Alliance. And I just wanted to express our support for reallocating funds for the beautification of 3rd Street. You'll see we have a letter as well in the packet that explains our support of this plan, and then also that we will in turn allocate our money that was set aside for the medians towards beautification as well.
Thank you for spending some time this evening, Jennifer, to speak to the City Council on this. We sure appreciate it. Any other members of the public wish to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council, any comments? Councilor Doherty.
I have a comment. I'm also happy to see the medians not part of the plan. I just don't think the street's wide enough, and I've done a lot of shoveling on 3rd Street, and so I would like to have more place for snow to go. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments? Okay, I do have one. I just wanted to acknowledge city staff and members of the public business community for finding a compromise here. I think this is it's good work to have all of these parties coming together in agreement. And then Director Webb, I do think in the letter from Main Street, there was a comment about reducing the speed limit, and you and I have had that conversation, but just so it's before the council, I do think reducing the speed limit through downtown is worth considering. It's a YDOT decision ultimately, but I do think that would help add the sort of sense of place that is being sought after here. So there's obviously going to be a bigger conversation about that, but I just wanted to state that this evening. Any other members have a comment? Councilor Doherty.
I've noticed on 287 in Colorado that when it goes through town, it's often 25 miles per hour. So I think I like that too.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Richardson.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. Cumby,
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item passes. We will move to item 14, Vice Mayor Cumby.
Thank you. I move that City Council approve the application for a new restaurant liquor license number R72 for 17 Cafe LLC, doing business as 17th Street Cafe, located at 310 South 17th Street, Laramie, Wyoming, for the licensing term of February 8, 2023 through May 7 of 2023, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Cumby, second by Councilor Gabriel. City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. The application before you this evening is from 17 Cafe LLC, doing business as 17th Street Cafe. It is in the same location that 17th Street Cafe had been prior. However, it's under new ownership. So the new owner came in with his menu and wanted to apply for a restaurant liquor license to pair with the menu items and stuff. So with that, their dispensing areas would be in the kitchen area. There's a small cooler that'll be in the top upstairs, and then down in the basement by their walk-in cooler, there's also an area where they can mix drinks and stuff down there. So those are the dispensing areas that we're recommending for approval this evening.
Great. Thank you, City Clerk. Council, any questions?
Mayor, just of note, Luis Diaz, our applicant, was on earlier. Let me see if it's okay, Mayor.
Please,
if the
yeah,
angel
please.
might be Luis.
Yes, please.
Luis, are you on with us by chance?
Nancy, I'm present.
So, Mayor, we do have the applicant with us if you have any questions.
Sure. Council, any questions for Mr. Diaz? Yeah, Councilor Richardson.
Sorry. I just have a question about the licensing term, February 8th through May 7th of this year. That seems like short. Can you just explain that for me? I'm a little bit
Absolutely
knowledgeable about this.
So in the city of Laramie, our liquor licensing terms go May 8th to May 7th of every year. So shortly, you'll see a renewal liquor license application for them as well as everyone else that has liquor licenses.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Council? Mr. Diaz, would you like to say anything to the council this evening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I believe I'm a responsible liquor license holder for the past 2 years. I came here from Los Angeles, and I shortly took over Andale Rapido with my partner, and we've been responsible in the way we go about selling our alcohol and margaritas, and we plan on doing the same thing at 17th Street Cafe. We recognize that Laramie is a hardworking community, and we would like to just provide, mostly near the summertime, mimosas on the beautiful outdoor patio. So patrons, families could come in and enjoy a drink or two.
Great, Mr. Diaz, thank you for that. We will go to members of the public on this item. Any members of the public wish to speak on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council, any comments? Okay. Mr. Diaz, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, panel.
You're welcome. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item passes. We will move on to item 15. Councilor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the Laramie City Council approve Resolution 2023-16, designating recreation project request priorities to the Albany County Recreation Board for funding consideration in fiscal year 2024, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Gabriel, second by Pierce. Assistant City Manager, welcome.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Albany County Rec Board before we get into the meat of what the city staff and the Parks, Tree, and Rec Advisory Board has completed through dates. But the Albany County Rec Board are made up of members of the Albany County School Board. And what they do is they have the right to impose a mill levy on property tax to use for recreational purposes and are set by bylaw. This typically happens in the budget meeting of the school district, which is either the end of June or early July, and it gets forwarded. So the funding source is anticipated to be up a little bit more because property tax has continued to increase, and we're hoping that maybe we'll see $625,000 to $645,000 a year based off that one mill. The Albany County, through the bylaws of the Albany County Rec Board, they accept proposals from the City of Laramie, Albany County, the school district, and Rock River for recreational projects. The way the city has handled that since I've been here is we do a request for proposals that solidifies itself sometime in December, and then the Parks, Tree, and Rec Advisory Board spends 2 rather grueling meetings listening to presentations and then efforting attempts to get to where we get the projects in a priority order and then get the amount that we're going to award those agencies based on different concerns of the board. As such, they've done that and provided you a prioritized list and a list of projects and the amount that they want, that they were intending. That total amount is $420,888.60. If the council approves that list tonight, it's then forwarded to the Albany County Rec Board for meetings and ratification. And if the Albany County Rec Board approves that, then it goes to the Albany County School District that hopefully approves it. And then that money is available for the different organizations that are approved to get the funding as of July 1st. It's typically paid to the city from Albany County School District, and then we reimburse the grantees as they turn in grant draw requests. With that being said, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager. Any questions, Council? Okay, seeing none, we will go to the public. Any public wishing to speak to this item? Okay, seeing none, back to the council for any comments. Councilor Doherty.
I want to thank our boards for reviewing these applications. I know how hard it is to try to prioritize, so I appreciate the work that went into it. And I appreciate Mr. Fieser explaining the very arduous process, that it's not just our trees, parks, and rec that gets to approve something and then money is received. So thank you, Mr. Fieser, and thanks for all your work on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Newman, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That resolution has been adopted. We will move to item 16. Vice Mayor Cumby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve, thank you. I move to approve Resolution 2023-17, designating members to represent the governing body on city-county steering committee working groups for intergovernmental cooperation and collaboration, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
I'll second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Cumby, second by Councilor Richardson. City Manager Jordan, I believe this item is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. It was the intention of council to reappoint members and to continue the steering committees that had existed in the last calendar year in 2022. This resolution would do that. It would also, upon conclusion of the work of 2 of those committees, establish new members for a new set of 2 committees to continue through the rest of calendar 23, working on issues and efforts that are shared between the city and county. I understand I may or may not have gotten correct the assignments in the resolution, so I will leave it to you all to determine if those are accurate, and if not, amend the resolution as needed. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Council, any questions? One note that I had, Council, as we discussed these, if you look at the in the resolution itself, the growth and economic development conversation, I had intended Councilor Gabriel, Shumway, and myself to be on that group, and then to also function in this general cooperation role where there are not tasks assigned yet, but that to be a place that maybe some other tasks may fall. I, of course, cannot make that motion to amend it, but that is that was my intention when we discussed this at our retreat. So if any other council member happens to be interested in that change, I'd be all ears. And City Manager, I guess I would ask if that works in sort of the way you conceptualize these as well, but that was my understanding of where we were headed.
Absolutely. Just to repeat what you said to make sure I am clear on it, where it says growth and economic development with counselors to be determined, we would make note there that those counselors would be Gabriel, Shumway, and Harrington.
City Manager, that's correct. Councilor O'Doherty.
I'll make a motion if it's agreeable to those counselors to serve on that, if there's any work yet to be done on that Growth and Economic Development Subcommittee, or working group, whatever it's called. Thank you.
Do you want to name them?
Oh, yeah, so Councilors Gabriel, Shumway, and Harrington to serve on the Growth and Economic Development Steering Committee.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by O'Doherty, second by Shumway. Council, any comments or any questions on the amendment? Okay, members of the public, anyone wishing to speak to the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, back to the council for any closing comments on this change. Okay, City Clerk, you can call the roll on the amendment.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. O'Doherty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Shumway.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That amendment has been adopted. We are back to the main motion. Council, any questions? Okay, we will go to members of the public. Any comments on this item? Okay, seeing no public comment, back to the council for comments. I will just note for the council, Councilor Gabriel has agreed to follow through on the Aquifer Protection Plan because he has been working on it. After that project is completed, he will then move to this Growth and Economic Development Plan. So that we have sort of a streamlined process through the finish line there if the council chooses to adopt that. So thank you, Councilor Gabriel, for doing double duty for a moment. All right. City Clerk, you can call the roll on the main motion.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman, absent. Somerville, absent. Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That resolution has been adopted, and thank you, members, for taking your time to serve on these working or steering committees, I guess they are called. We will move to item 17. Councilor Gabriel.
Thank you, Mayor. I would move to approve on second reading original ordinance number 2056, amending Laramie Municipal Code 9.12.130 to also prohibit intoxicated individuals from entering private homes or places without the knowledge or consent of the owner or occupant under subsection E.
Second.
Motion by Gabriel, second by Pierce. Holly, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. Thanks for having me here again this evening. This is second reading, so I think Council's pretty familiar, just trying to incorporate when heavily intoxicated individuals enter somebody's home or residence without the knowledge or permission of the owner or occupant to enable the police department to place them under arrest under this specific ordinance. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any questions? Councilor Doherty, go ahead.
Ms. Boleski, would you mind addressing the question about the and/or? Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Mayor, Councilor Doherty, thank you for the question. It's my opinion the law is clear on or allows one or the other. It was intentional. I think an and creates problems because perhaps you're having your morning coffee or something and you see someone come into your yard or your private space. Well, you know they're there, but you haven't given them permission. So the law is to allow some flexibility for both law enforcement when they're placing people under arrest and prosecution, whether they had knowledge or permission, and whether it's an owner or an occupant. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Your Honor. Holly, thank you for being here. I have 3 of my boys that are attorneys, and so I thought I'll run this by them because I believe Brett Glass is a very smart guy. And I thought, he obviously has looked at this very seriously, and we need to also. And so I ran this by my 3 sons, and one of them, by the way, is a prosecuting attorney, so he sympathizes with you. And,
it's rare.
And they said it looks good. The way it's written, it looks well. He says the only concern he had, one of them said the only concern they had is where it talks about alcohol or drugs. And he thought maybe it should say alcohol or illegal drugs, because someone could go in there with a legal drug and be arrested and have a big fight. So I just wanted you to think about that. If you advise us to change that to illegal drugs, I would be glad to make that motion, but that's up to you.
Honorable Mayor and Council Shumway, the reason I wouldn't say is that Wyoming law defines drug as essentially anything that can alter one state. So you could be prescribed a legal drug. You could have a prescription for something that when you mix with alcohol makes it so that you are no longer in control of your mental faculties and end up again on somebody's private home. And so the definition of drug in Wyoming is very broad. Even a DUI, you can get a DUI if you have a prescription for that drug, if you are driving or impaired at the time you're driving. So I think it was intentional that it be drug and not necessarily an illegal drug, because that gets into all kinds of nuances of whether is it a prescription drug, valid prescription, being taken in accordance with the prescription, opens some of those things, whereas drug is rather broad. But again, this ordinance is really dealing with a very specific situation where somebody essentially is unable to care for themselves or others due to being basically impaired, intoxicated by alcohol, drugs, or a combination of both.
Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want you to know that my son that's a prosecuting attorney agrees with you. The one that had a problem is over HR, so he needs to be re-educated.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Richardson.
I did not ask my son for advice because I don't know what I would have gotten from an 8-year-old. However, I did reach out to 2 attorneys as well, similar to Councilor Shumway, just to make sure we're following up on this, and they also were in agreement that the language seemed just fine.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? Councilor Doherty?
This may be a dumb question, but I'm not really comfortable with sober people entering my private home without my knowledge and consent. That's illegal, right?
Under certain circumstances, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, people can enter your home with knowledge and permission and all of those things. And I know there was a quote in the paper that was taken somewhat out of context for this particular amendment, but yes. And if an individual's in your home and they're sober and you want them removed, the police can do that. Okay. The point of this amendment is if they're intoxicated to a degree they can't care for themselves, and we're removing them and then putting them back on the street, we haven't actually solved the problem, because now we potentially have someone who's very impaired, in very bad elements, and not placed under arrest in those circumstances.
Sorry, now I remember that we talked about this before. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions? Any members of the public wish to speak to the council on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council, any questions or any comments at the end here? Okay. Seeing none, City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Shumway.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman, absent. Gabriel.
Yes.
Somerville, absent. Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 7 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item carries. We will move on to item 18, which is public comments. This is open-ended. So any members of the public wish to speak to the council, you have 3 minutes. Okay. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council, any consideration for future council work session topics? Councilor Shumway.
I don't know if we have it planned, but we need to schedule a time which we can all be trained on audit. It's being required by the state, and so we need to have council staff and committees that are involved with any finances to have training so that we can, so we'll be in compliance with the state's mandate that we be trained on the audit. So I don't know if there's a chance for us to do that. We need to do it within the year.
Okay. I think, yeah, City Clerk.
Mayor, your city manager's online. She probably has a follow-up to that.
Okay. Yeah, City Manager Jordan.
Hi, Council. Great point, Councilor Shumway. And just to let Council know, it's the intention of myself and your Administrative Services Director, Jen Wade. We'll be incorporating a chapter into the budget, recommended budget book, and we will kick off budget work sessions by going over that chapter. We're structuring that such that we believe it will satisfy the new state requirement coming out of the legislature and being administered through the Wyoming Department of Audit. So that's our hope, to incorporate it into your budget work sessions.
Thank you, City Manager, and thank you, Councilor. Any other additions? All right, Council, I would like to add a work session that I hope will be brief from the Planning Department regarding the use of public art in improvements for the use of public art in lieu of landscaping for development. So it's been Planning will not be surprised that this work session is coming. There's been a few hiccups that need to be changed or discussed by the council. So I would like us to have a work session if anyone else agrees.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. Any others? Great. Councilor Pierce, item 20.
Thanks. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
7:29.
Our streak's on.
They've been giving you good agendas.
This has very little to do with me.